Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide to your daily journey through the past to empower the future. Today is Saturday, June 21st, 2025. As we do every Saturday, we're exploring a significant military engagement that shaped the course of history. Today, we turn our attention to the Battle of Gettysburg, fought from July 1, 1863, widely considered the turning point of the American Civil War. This three-day engagement in Pennsylvania marked the furthest Confederate advance into Union territory and resulted in devastating casualties that would forever alter the trajectory of the war. What makes Gettysburg particularly significant is how a chance encounter between opposing forces escalated into the largest battle ever fought on North American soil, ultimately determining whether the Confederate States could achieve independence or the Union would be preserved. So let's explore this pivotal Civil War battle, examining the strategic context that led to the Pennsylvania campaign, the 3 days of intense fighting, the crucial decisions that determined the outcome, and its lasting impact on American history. By summer 1863, the Civil War had raged for over 2 years with no clear resolution in sight. Confederate General Robert E. Lee had achieved stunning victories in Virginia, but the war's outcome remained uncertain. Lee recognized that the Confederacy's best hope lay in achieving a decisive victory on Northern soil that might convince European powers to recognize Confederate independence and persuade war-weary Northerners to seek peace. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia crossed into Pennsylvania in June 1863, seeking to relieve pressure on war-torn Virginia while potentially threatening major northern cities like Harrisburg, Baltimore, or even Washington, D.C. The campaign represented the Confederacy's most ambitious offensive operation of the war. The Union Army of the Potomac, commanded by General George Meade, who had replaced Joseph Hooker just days before the battle, moved to intercept Lee's forces. Neither commander initially intended to fight at Gettysburg, a small Pennsylvania town that served as a hub for several roads. The battle began by accident on July 1, 1863, when Confederate forces searching for supplies encountered Union cavalry under General John Buford west of Gettysburg. Buford recognized the strategic importance of the high ground south of town and deployed his dismounted troopers to delay the Confederate advance until Union infantry could arrive. The first day's fighting escalated as both sides fed more troops into the engagement. Confederate forces under General Henry Heth initially pushed back Buford's cavalry, but the arrival of Union General John Reynolds' First Corps stabilized the situation. Reynolds was killed early in the fighting, becoming one of the battle's first high-ranking casualties. As more Confederate divisions arrived, they gradually overwhelmed the outnumbered Union forces, pushing them through Gettysburg toward Cemetery Hill south of town. The Confederate success seemed complete, but crucial decisions made in the late afternoon would shape the entire battle's outcome. Confederate General Richard Ewell, commanding Lee's Second Corps, received discretionary orders to take Cemetery Hill, if practicable. Ewell, facing what appeared to be strong Union positions and lacking detailed knowledge of the terrain, chose not to attack. This decision allowed Union forces to establish strong defensive positions on the high ground. Throughout the night of July 1-2, both armies concentrated their forces. The Union Army formed a defensive line resembling a fishhook, with troops positioned along Cemetery Ridge, Cemetery Hill, Culp's Hill, and extending south to Little Round Top. Lee's army took positions along Seminary Ridge, facing the Union line across open ground. July 2 brought Lee's attempt to break the Union flanks. He ordered General James Longstreet to attack the Union left while Ewell struck the Union right. Longstreet, who disagreed with Lee's aggressive tactics, delayed his attack until late afternoon, giving Union forces time to strengthen their positions. The fighting on July 2 was intense and bloody. Confederate forces under John Bell Hood and Lafayette McLaws attacked through the Wheatfield, Devil's Den, and toward Little Round Top. The battle for Little Round Top became legendary when Union Colonel Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain's 20th Maine Regiment made a desperate bayonet charge to repel Confederate attackers, likely saving the Union Army's left flank. Simultaneously, Ewell's forces attacked Culp's Hill and Cemetery Hill on the Union right. Despite fierce fighting, Confederate forces failed to dislodge Union defenders from their strong positions. The day ended with enormous casualties but no decisive advantage for either side. The climax came on July 3 with Lee's decision to launch a massive frontal assault against the Union center on Cemetery Ridge. Despite Longstreet's objections, Lee ordered what became known as Picketts' Charge, named after General George Pickett, whose division participated in the attack. The assault began with a massive artillery bombardment involving over 150 Confederate cannons. However, most shells overshot their targets, failing to significantly damage Union positions. The Union artillery, commanded by General Henry Hunt, wisely conserved ammunition for the expected infantry assault. Around 3 p.m., approximately 12,000 Confederate soldiers advanced across nearly a mile of open ground toward Union positions on Cemetery Ridge. The attack, led by divisions under Pickett, James Pettigrew, and Isaac Trimble, represented the war's largest Confederate assault. The advancing Confederates faced devastating artillery and rifle fire from Union positions. As they approached the stone wall along Cemetery Ridge, Union forces concentrated their fire, creating a killing field. A small group of Confederates briefly breached Union lines at the Bloody Angle, but they were quickly overwhelmed and repulsed. The failure of Pickett's charge marked the battle's decisive moment. Confederate casualties during the assault were catastrophic, with some units losing over 50% of their men. Lee personally met the survivors, taking full responsibility for the disaster and reportedly saying, "It is all my fault." July 4th passed quietly as both armies tended their wounded and prepared for potential renewed fighting. However, Lee recognized that his invasion had failed and began withdrawing his battered army toward Virginia. Meade, despite pressure to pursue aggressively, allowed Lee's army to escape across the Potomac River. The Battle of Gettysburg resulted in staggering casualties. Union forces suffered approximately 23,000 casualties out of 90,000 engaged, while Confederate losses totaled about 28,000 out of 75,000 troops. These casualties, particularly among Confederate officers and veteran soldiers, represented losses the South could not easily replace. The battle's strategic consequences were enormous. Lee's failure to achieve victory on Northern soil effectively ended Confederate hopes for European recognition. The heavy casualties, especially among experienced officers and soldiers, permanently weakened the Army of Northern Virginia. Simultaneously, the Union victory at Gettysburg coincided with General Ulysses S. Grant's capture of Vicksburg on July 4, 1863. These twin victories marked the war's turning point, with the Confederacy never again able to threaten Union territory significantly. The battle also elevated several military reputations while damaging others. Meade received credit for the victory but criticism for allowing Lee's escape. Longstreet faced blame from some Southerners for his delays on July 2nd, while heroes like Chamberlain became legendary figures. Gettysburg's political impact was equally significant. President Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, delivered at the battlefield's dedication in November 1863, redefined the war's purpose and became one of American history's greatest speeches. Lincoln's brief remarks transformed the battlefield into a symbol of national rebirth and democratic ideals. The battle demonstrated several important military lessons. It showed the deadly effectiveness of defensive positions against frontal assaults, presaging the trench warfare that would characterize later conflicts. The importance of controlling high ground and the devastating power of concentrated artillery were clearly illustrated. Gettysburg also highlighted the crucial role of individual leadership decisions in determining battle outcomes. From Buford's initial delay to Ewell's failure to attack Cemetery Hill to Lee's decision to order Pickett's charge, key moments turned on individual commanders' choices. The battle's memory has remained central to American historical consciousness. The Gettysburg battlefield became a national park, preserving the site where so many Americans died fighting for their beliefs about the nation's future. Modern military historians continue studying Gettysburg for insights into 19th-century warfare, leadership under pressure, and the relationship between tactical decisions and strategic outcomes. The battle remains a touchstone for understanding how individual actions can shape historical events. The Battle of Gettysburg stands as a pivotal moment when the American Civil War's trajectory shifted decisively toward Union victory. The courage displayed by soldiers on both sides, the tactical lessons learned, and the political consequences that followed make it one of American history's most significant military engagements. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of the Battle of Gettysburg. Tomorrow, we'll be back with our Innovations and Inventions episode examining the development of the telegraph and its revolutionary impact on communication and commerce. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. What aspects of the Battle of Gettysburg do you find most significant or interesting? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, I'm your guide for History Explained, where we believe that understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.